Habs Akram Ace Video DJ, is that the correct technical term?
No, VJ Visual Artist is the. But I work with obviously the world's biggest DJs.
Yeah.
But a lot of people sometimes get me confused with the lighting guys. They think I do lighting because they never get to the front of house position, see what I'm actually doing. So, but I don't mind that. At the end of the day, I'm there to make the artist look good on stage. That's what my job is, really.
Who are the big names you've worked with recently?
I don't think anyone's worked with anyone over the last year and a half, but I've worked with Andrew Galeo, a great DJ producer.
Yeah.
Over the last year and a half, we've been doing online streaming.
Yeah.
And raising money for charities.
And the Soul Brothers, and what was the other one
right.
he was in? Somebody else as well. I can't remember, but bless him. He'll lynch me when we don't name
he's just a great DJ and producer, and also during our live streams, which have been really successful, we got to a point where he launched his latest track called Turnaround,
right,
on Flipside Records with Damien Scott, and he came round to my house and asked me to do the video for it for MTV,
right,
and which I was happy to do, and it went straight in the top 10 on MTV in its first week.
Excellent.
Which is great, for me, but it was also great for him and recognition for his music. Yeah, which is what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, funnily enough, one of his other tracks has been mailed out to me this week, and we've played it on it's in this week's. We do a program called the Remix Spectacular, which is a kind of a 1 hour continuous mix with drop-ins, and then we do another version where we have it's voiced by one of our friends who's an experienced radio presenter. So he's in the show this week. That's the what's it called? Suitcase at the Door track that he's done. So was that your video as well?
With Marcella Woods.
That's the one.
Yeah, he did that with Marcella Woods track. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
great tune.
Brilliant.
Yeah. No, he's doing some great stuff.
Who else have we done?
Well, prior to lockdown, obviously, I was, traveling the world with DJs like Carl Cox.
Yeah.
Also doing, a lot of, main stage festivals. But in the background, I was also developing something that was going to be a game changer in the music industry, which is the world's first visual mixing app called DJVJ, where basically you can plug your mobile phone into any screen in the world, whether it's at a festival, in a club, or at home, and you can have real-time visuals going live to music straight from your mobile device.
So aren't you doing yourself out of the job there, dear heart? Is that not? Does that not stop you?
No. But what it is, it's just with the lockdown, a lot of people were missing, the opportunity to go clubbing or to festivals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this app, this visual app, gives you the opportunity to, stream my visuals.
Yeah.
On your TV at home and through your surround sound.
Cool.
For your audio system, and a lot of people, have been sending me videos of them using my app, in the lounges and dancing with it. A lot of DJs as well who've been streaming live from home.
Yeah.
Have also been using the app where they put a flat screen monitor in front of their decks.
Yeah.
And then plug in my app and then DJing live, and they've got the visuals going with the music, and they've also got their names, because you can also type in text in the app, and that will also respond live, to music.
Cool. So where do we get hold of the copy?
And basically, it's available now. We launched it in October on iTunes and Google Play. Right. And the amazing thing about the app was normally when you send an app to iTunes to approve the app, they take 6 to 8 weeks to approve it, because they get thousands of apps sent to them. But I was astonished to find that they approved my app in 24 hours.
Good grief!
So they must have liked it.
Absolutely. So what about, where's the content come from? Because obviously, just explain what you do. Let's start at the beginning. If Carl Cox picks up the phone and goes, "Habs, I need you to come and do the show for me in Melbourne or whatever," how does it work? What's the process?
Well, process is, I have a vast video library. I mean, I've been doing it for 25 years now.
Yeah.
When I first started, just to give you a bit of history on the VJing side of stuff, I started up with VHS tapes.
Right.
Now, you talk to a lot of the younger generation now, they don't even know what a VHS tape looks like. Right. And I used to drive around the UK
Yeah.
with, like 300 to 400 of those VHS tapes in the back of my car and a few VHS players, and I'll be mixing, the videotapes live. But then it went digital, and now it's all software related.
Right.
But what I did was I managed to transfer all my VHS tapes into a digital format.
Cool.
Which enabled me to have a massive library. So now, with the new generation of clubbers that come out and festival goers, they've never seen this content.
Right.
And so I have another vast library of that. But working with Carl Cox, coming back to your question, one thing that, working with Carl for over a decade, we never ever sat down and he never said to me, look, Habs, I want you to do it like this, or I want the visuals like that, or whatever. He always turned around to me and said, look, you do what you do, and I'll do what I do.
Right.
And that's how we always did it, because every set we ever did was live and in real time.
Okay.
Right, because he never played the same set twice.
Yeah.
And I never mix the visuals the way I do in the same way twice.
Okay.
We just mixing it as we went along, especially the big festivals and every Tuesday night at Space.
Really? So as a DJ, you like to ebb and flow the music. How can you follow that? Can you pick it up from working with him, or do you get a feel for the tempo, where he's going? Because obviously trying to relate the videos to the music to add to the atmosphere, as well as affecting the sort of the lighting scenario, that must be quite a skill, surely.
That's a great question, John. I mean, basically, like Carl, if you ever seen Carl play live, he always gets into the groove, into his mixes. And I'm the same with the visuals, because I have to, you have to feel it, and in your mind, I'm always preparing 2 to 3 visual elements in advance to when he's bringing in the new tracks. And the great thing about techno music and trance music as well, and the latest house music, there's a lot of drops in the music.
Yeah.
Right. And as a visual artist, it's great when you're mixing it live, because when the drops come in, one thing I always do, and I think you might have seen me do this when we worked together in real couple of years back. I always go for a blackout on the screens,
right,
when the track drops, and then but I also work in conjunction with the lighting guys, because it's not all about the visuals; it's all about working with everybody else that's involved in the production.
Yeah.
Right. So, and it's all about matching colours as well. So if the lighting guy goes red, green or blue, I'll try and go red, green or blue with the visuals.
Yeah.
Just to create that atmosphere and that environment. And the audience can see that it's live.
Right.
Right. And that's how I go along doing what I do. I never know what the DJ's going to play.
See,
I never have a clue.
Some of this is a bit of a leading question, because I dabble with video when I'm DJing. But I have them all on like a little keyboard. So I kind of have like a grid, almost like a DJ controller. So I have my samples on each one, so I can kind of hit the button and it works. What sort of technology do you use to do what you're doing? Because 1, you must have a vision mixer. 2, you must have a massive library. So how do you find the bits that you want in the split second that you need as you come out of the drop?
That's another good question, because I don't have a vision mixer. I used to have a vision mixer, but I don't have one anymore. I don't need one.
Okay.
Because all the the laptops now, the ones that I use for the MacBook Pros, are at the top of their range, and they just give you can get a straight HDMI output straight from that into the screens. Right. But with the software that I use, I can actually build up a library of content ready to click straight into it. But what I've also done, I'm also sponsored by a company that creates or develops video MIDI controllers called Tractor. Have you heard of Tractor?
Yeah, I know.
A lot of DJs use the Tractor MIDI controllers, for their DJ sets.
Yeah.
But I use those for video mixing.
Really?
Right. And when the DJs come and see me and see what I'm doing, a lot of them, which is really nice, they always come and see me before their set. So they always want to see how the stage looks from front of house.
Yeah.
Right. So they always come over and they say, "Hi, how you doing, Habs?" Blah blah blah. Oh, what you got there? And they'll see it and they say, "What are you using that MIDI controller for?" I said, "Well, I'm using it for video mixing." They say, "I use that for DJ."
Mm-hmm.
And so I show them what I use it for, and they're astounded by what I'm doing. I don't need to carry all this kit with me anymore. Now I can take everything in the hand luggage bag and travel the world.
Really?
And in my laptops, I've got over 8,000 video loops that I can just go straight to and change content as depending on the style of music.
Brilliant. You must have a hell of a memory in your laptops then.
Yeah, I've got a big memory. Plus, I also carry a couple of external hard drives as well as backup. You know, just in case there's any issues. But you know, it's just everything's. John, you know as well as I do. When you're doing events, it's all about the preparation. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And I'm always the first one in and the last one out. Yeah. Because you know, video is always the last thing on the list when it comes to big events because it's probably one of the most expensive elements of the production. Right. So. And that's what I've always taken, you know, into consideration, especially when I first started, because we started with video projectors. Yeah, yeah. And there was always a conflict between the VJs or the vidiots, as they used to call us, and the lighting guys. Yeah. Right? Because, you know, if the lighting was too strong, it would wash out the projected image. Yeah. Right. And it never bothered me because, you know, I tend to work with people rather than against them. Yeah, yeah. Which I think feels very, very important because you're all working on the same event, same show. But now the ball's turned around where the video, the LED screens are so powerful. Yeah. You now get the lighting guys coming up to you and saying, "Can you turn the screens down because it's washing out my lighting, you know, on my show," which I'm happy to do. But,
it's almost at the point where you don't need lighting guys. I have to say it. The screens are so bright. It's a point, yeah. You know,
that's another good point because I did my first world tour was with a band that I'd never heard of, but they were massive in the world. They were called Nine Inch Nails. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Yeah, I know them. Yeah,
right. That was my first ever world tour with Nine Inch Nails, working with Trent Reznor. Right, and they wanted to use the LED screens for lighting, but they wanted to point them down onto the band rather than having them pointing out to the audience. Okay. And they were using the LED as a form of lighting. Yeah, yeah. And it was the lighting. Actually, it was funny. It was the lighting director for Pink Floyd, a gentleman by the name of Mark Brickman, right, who came to see me at my office in Notting Hill and said, "Look, I've got this band called Nine Inch Nails, Habs, and I think your visuals would be great just as a lighting source with the LEDs." Yeah. So I said, "Okay, well, let's try it out." So we tried it, and we ended up going around the world with them. And then it went from Nine Inch Nails to the Pet Shop Boys, Franz Ferdinand, Left Field, blah, blah, blah.
See, these are all forward-thinking guys, aren't they? The names that you're dropping there, these are the people that have always been the innovators in the music business.
That's right. They have been very, very, and I've learned a lot from them as well, coming from my end. Yeah. Because they're learning. While they're learning, I'm learning as well because I'm learning what their requirements are. Right. Which will help me with other bands that haven't actually gone into that arena of visuals. So, which was great. But just a little story. You know, while I was in New York with Nine Inch Nails, Mark Brickman came up to me at the end of the show, and he said, "Look, Habs, there's a guy in the audience who wants to meet you." And his name's Stephen, right? And he just want to have a chat with you. I said, "All right, no problem." So this guy came over and goes, "Hi, my name's Stephen. I loved your visuals and they'll be perfect for a movie I'm working on." And he said, "Look, my people will be in touch with you, right?" I thought, "Okay, I'll leave it at that." And then Mark came up to me afterwards and said, "How'd you get on?" I said, "Yeah, it's fine." He said he's going to get his people to get in touch with me. And he goes, "You know who that was?" I said, "No," because I was so, you know,
in the moment,
after a gig, you know, you're just about the breakdown, packing out and everything. I was just focused on that. He goes, "That was Steven Spielberg," right? And then to cut a long story short, he ended up flying me to LA, and I ended up doing 20 minutes of his movie called AI, Artificial Intelligence, with an American rock band called The Ministry, and. But, you know,
we have a punk in the background that's laughing away at your name dropping here. You know that, don't you?
Well, mate of mine played
it's just got to be. It's weird in life, right? And you know, you've probably been in this position as well, where you know some things happen to you when you're in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, and I had no idea that Spielberg was a Nine Inch Nails fan or into rock and roll. And so I learned something there as well. You know.
Right. Well, Andy's just saying his friend actually played guitar in The Ministry. So,
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He got kicked off for setting a firework off.
Oh, yeah. Did you hear that?
Really? Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Well, I did a part of the movie where it was called The Flesh Fair, where the little boy Jude Law and the Ministry are playing on stage with these LED guitars.
Right.
And I'm doing the visuals on the LED screens behind them.
Yeah.
And it was pretty immense situation. I never thought I'd ever end up in a situation like this.
So
it was all part.
Talk to me about licenses and content for the stuff that you use. Number one, do you nick it from YouTube? Do you pay for loops from a different, a library? Do you film your own? How do you put it together?
Well, initially I've got my own library. I've got over like 6,000 loops, but I also work with a lot of artists globally because of the events that I do.
Yeah.
And also with the app, a lot of the artists I've given them an opportunity to sell their content through my app.
Oh, right, cool.
Right, so where they can make money as well.
DJ
because a lot
out there that wants content, they can come to your app and look for material.
They can go into they can buy content within the app as well,
right.
Or they can come to me personally and do that. But a lot of the artists out there, I mean, I can't do all the 3D stuff. That's not my speciality.
Yeah.
My background was After Effects and doing 2D energy music or energy visuals, shall I say. But I dabbled a little bit with the 3D, but I just don't have time for it anymore.
Right.
And because I'm focusing on other things, I with the app trying to get it out there.
The video mapping, is that what we're talking about? Where you see the sort of the Houses of Parliament in 3D and then they all collapse?
No. That's another thing. I'm on about 3D, objects and stuff like that. Okay. Like, If you look at some of the latest computer games, they use a software program called Unreal, right, which is amazing software. And I've managed to have 4 guys that are absolute amazing using that software, right. And if I want something created or I've got an idea, I'll go, I'll give them a call and go and see them and say, look, can we do this, guys? Say, yeah, no problem. How's you? They're like geeks in their little coven, like say, whatever ideas you come up with, just let us know, man. We're up for it,
Right, cool.
Which is another thing they helped me with when we created Andy Glazer's video with the spacemen and everything. That's all created in Unreal.
Really?
Right. Unreal Engine, amazing.
Right. Cool.
So I don't take the credit for everything, John. This is very important.
You're a very modest man, Mr. Akram. I have to say that. The minute I met you, that came across. I have to say.
But with the 2D stuff and everything else, that's me. That's my specialty. But with the new Unreal Engine and all the new 3D and the new 4D stuff, that's not my bag. That's somebody else, because there's a lot of learning and a lot of skill there. Okay. And I respect those guys massively.
Yeah. I mean, what you're doing is actually a really important part, not just of sort of club DJs or club music. It's, as you say, it's across the whole music industry, isn't it? So, who are your competitors? Who do you learn from? Who do you go to for ideas?
Oh, I don't. I you know what? It's funny because a lot of people say to me, who are your competitors? Because I'm always busy and I'm always working, I never get to meet any other VJs. I sort of pioneered this back, like 25 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
At a little club in Kingston upon Thames. That's where I did my first club night.
Which one?
With in the garage music scene.
Ah, right.
And it went from there, because the guy that actually introduced me to this sort of stuff was a gentleman by the name of Andreas Whittam Smith.
Right.
He was the founder of the Independent newspaper. Okay. And he headhunted me for about 8 months because they wanted to launch a software program, but it was way ahead of its time because the computers weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
So I gave him another idea about creating content for bands. Yeah. Which is where the Nine Inch Nails concept came in. Yeah. And where I brought in, got introduced to, what's his name again? Mark Brickman. Yeah. So there's a lot of history in all this, but it's like anything. When you're in our industry, you're either in it to win it, or you're in it just for short term. Yeah. And then you're out and you disappear. If you're really passionate about what you do, you'll stick it out. Because being in the music industry is like a roller coaster ride. One minute you're up, next minute you're down. One minute you're up, next minute you're down. That's how it is. It's
inside your blood. You can't get away from it once you've got in there.
You can't. You've got to be there for the ride. Yeah. And and the last year and a half has been the toughest ride for thousands of people in our industry, and I feel for them.
About it. Yeah. The whole reason we started the label was because we had everybody sat at home going stir crazy. So people like Andy, who's a sound engineer, who runs rehearsal studios and stuff. We have singers that we use on the road shows and on the stage events and stuff that were sat at home. So we thought, right, well, we've got to do something creative. We can't just sit around and do nothing. We'll go stir crazy, you know.
That's exactly what I did, John. I mean, that's why I started these live streams with Andy Galea. We've been doing it religiously every Friday night, and we've got like a little chat room now where everyone just looks forward to us playing every Friday night.
Yeah.
You know, and it's lovely because a lot of people have made new friends from different parts of the country and different parts of Europe, really, just through the chat room of watching us. And because Andy's not on live camera, he's basically, I'm taking his audio from his Twitch feed into my kitchen here,
right,
and then I'm mixing the visuals live and then putting it out to all the social medias, just as visual mixing live, and then he's seeing everyone that's coming up and commenting, and then he gives them a shout out in real time from his mic in his studio at home,
right,
so they all know live. But a lot of the DJs have been doing it live on camera, and I said to Andy, look, we're going to do it a different way where people just don't want to see a guy twiddling knobs for 2 hours.
Watching DJs is boring.
Let's give them a show. Let's give them a real-time audio-visual experience, which is what we've been doing every Friday night.
So how do you go on with the legalities? Because Twitch is great and Mixcloud is great, but Mixcloud, you work as a radio station, so you can't put visuals on it. How do you
you can. You can. We've been running visuals through Mixcloud.
Have you?
Yeah.
I need to talk to you off camera.
We did it last night. That's what I said to you. I'd love to do it with you guys one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we did it last night on Mixcloud. I mean, Andy has a slot, a 2-hour slot every Friday with a radio station called Unity DAB. It's a digital radio station based down in London.
Yeah.
And I did a big charity event, Dance for Cancer, with them.
Right.
Where I went to their studio and we put in a green screen behind the DJ booth. Yeah. And I basically, did the visuals like that, mixed it, and it looked amazing. Right. The way we Luma keyed the DJ in front of the visuals, and it just looked amazing. And then we streamed it through Mixcloud, because Mixcloud won't cut you off like Facebook the audio side of stuff.
That's the point I was trying to get to. Some of our friends that started doing it on Facebook in the early days of the lockdown, Facebook just turned it off as soon as the algorithm recognised the big hits. They turned them off. So which was perfect social enterprise, wasn't it? Really, when everybody needed a bit of a lift. Right. Well, you've got. That's the deal. You and I between us will do a remix spectacular live. I'll play the music, and the visuals, and we'll put it out. So
all right. Well, bring it on, mate. Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me know how long, how many hours. Let's do a couple of hours to start.
1 hour.
1 hour, perfect.
60-minute show. It goes on about 15 different stations. So, but obviously we put it out on the socials as well. So, that's the deal.
Okay, well, I can take your audio from, if you've got Twitch, I can take your audio here, and then I, like I say, working with Andy, we'll sit back and chat about it.
I tend to pre-record mine, and because it goes on all the different stations. So the easiest thing to do is just we transfer you the link, and then you put the visuals together, and then we'll put it out through the socials. And if the stations want to take it as well.
John, you appreciate it more if we do it live.
Right,
let's do it live.
You're on. We'll do it on Twitch.
Let's do it live on Twitch. Honestly, everyone will see it and they'll appreciate it more. That's how we built our followers.
Cool.
Because they know that we're doing it live. We're not pre-recording anything. It's just there.
Right.
As they're listening, and Andy's giving everyone a shout out and talking about what's going on in the world and all, and they love that.
Yeah, funnily enough, one of my other friends is Paul Duquesne, and I watch Paul every Friday and Saturday night. He does exactly the same. He has his little mirror ball, he has his little video screens with his, his shout-outs and stuff. And it's good. It's a small community, but it's a really kind of friendly community, I think. So, cool.
It is a friendly community. I mean, like DAB, the Unity guys, they love it. I mean, they would love me to be there every week, but I can't be asked to drive into London every week because
there's no money in it, mate.
It's just a nightmare. It's a nightmare trying to get in and out of town. I mean, during lockdown it was fine because there's no traffic, but now it's just like especially on a Friday. Forget it.
I spent 15 years living in Caterham, travelling into London every day. I DJ'd in Kingston upon Thames. I DJ'd in Hammersmith Palais. So yeah, I've done my London time. I'm not doing that again.
I must have been to one of your gigs. Whereabouts in Kingston did you DJ?
I did a couple. One was Rockefellers or Cinderella's or whatever it was called.
Up on the bridge. Above the bridge.
And then the other
I used
one
to go every
was
Monday.
Really? Oh, we'd have been there, mate.
Yeah.
So
there's a DJ there, a friend of mine called Will Senior. He used to DJ there.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if you ever came.
I think he went on to be a nightclub manager, didn't he? If I remember rightly.
Possibly.
I think
he was from. He lived in West London, sort of Isleworth.
Yeah.
But he used to DJ there and we used to go down there and just to see Will. But they were the old days, funk and soul days.
Absolutely, dude. And the other one was Options round the corner. Did you go in Options?
That was my first gig. That was my first ever gig at Options with Scott Garcia. It's a London thing.
Yeah.
That was my first. When I started doing the VJing stuff, that was where I first started at Options in Kingston. Wow, great! Small world.
Well, it feels as though it's come around again. You know, we were at a radio event last night, Radio Academy in Manchester.
Yeah.
And the guys there were saying that they feel that radio is kind of getting local again. And that it's reinventing itself. Because I'm talking about London pirate stations, obviously. Because the pirate radio stations came up when the big national stations got corporate and stopped doing what the people wanted. So they weren't playing the sort of the underground tunes. They were just playing the twee pop stuff that the advertisers wanted. And I think it's happened again. And that in a way is great, because the best way that those stations can get busy is by getting out there and attracting people to come and see them in a live situation. Back to where we are,
That's exactly what Simon Bolowski's done with Kisstory.
Right.
Working with Kiss.
Yeah.
Kisstory. Putting on his festivals now.
Yeah.
And it's a massive money earner for him.
Yeah.
But he's getting all the best artists for it, as you're probably well aware.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is the way forward. But one thing, with digital radio now and any radio, it's the music is great, but bringing the visual element to it brings the music to life.
Absolutely.
Visually, and that's where you'll benefit. And also, with the brands, they will love that element.
Yeah.
All the visual,
the thing
radio
is
station.
that people don't listen to radio in a linear way anymore. They don't think it's 9 o'clock, I'll turn it on because that. They go to their Spotify list, or they go to a podcast, or they go to whatever. And you're dead right. We do. We're doing this Hacienda Classical event in Blackpool on August Bank Holiday, which I'm hoping you're going to be involved with. And I did a mix of movie themes to advertise the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, which is on the Saturday. But then I actually thought, no, I'm going to go and I'm going to do a mix with the video elements, because it was Pirates of the Caribbean, Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, blah, blah, blah. So I just went and snatched the video links I could find off YouTube and put it together into a little mix. And the numbers that we got looking at that was through the roof. Now, I'm only doing it because I wanted to advertise the event, But you're dead right. To actually have a visual element to what you're doing is so much more exciting than just listening to the track on the radio. Yeah.
I mean, another thing that the Friday night followers are like that, and they never expected it because they're watching it. A lot of them are watching it on their TVs, because now you can watch YouTube and Facebook on your TV.
Yeah.
Right. So they're watching our live streams and via Mixcloud or whatever in their lounges, and they're dancing. They're called kitchen ravers and lounge ravers.
Yeah.
But what I did was I took some of their pictures from their Facebook pages and put them in the live stream.
Yeah, yeah.
And we totally blew them away, because then all their friends could see them. And nobody does that.
Yeah.
Just taking putting it straight to my software, and it's all responding in real time. While Andy Glare's DJing.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. So that could be something. But you mentioned the Philharmonic Orchestra. I'm actually doing an event on this Sunday, actually, in Essex.
Right.
With Catherine Jenkins and a Philharmonic Orchestra.
Excellent.
I'll be mixing visuals. On the Saturday, I'm Soultasia with Jocelyn Brown. Mm-hmm. And quite a few of the old 80s legends like Rolls Royce, Odyssey, so forth. And then on the Sunday, I'm doing Catherine Jenkins. So it's going to be quite from going from one style of music to a totally different style, but I can cover it because I've got the content.
Yeah. And is it the same basic job for you? I mean, job's the wrong word, but is it the same calling to mix classical music one day and then soul music the next day and then house music the next day?
It's if you know what you're doing, John, it's just like anything, right?
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing, you know you can do it. I mean, it's just like it's like watching someone play golf, right? They make it look so easy, but I could never do it.
No,
and a lot of people come up to me and say, look, you're mixing all these visuals and you make it look so easy. But I said, well, you have a go. They wouldn't know where to start.
Yeah.
But because I've been doing it so long, I know where I can go to get certain content to go with a certain style of music.
Yeah.
Because I know where the files are, and I say, oh, this will work with that, this will work with that. And I've got it all ready now, for the weekend.
So come on, put your Nostradamus hat on. Where are we going to be in 10 years with audio-visual stuff?
Well, everyone's going to be wearing the old 3D, whatever they call things, and they're all, they're all going to be wearing the goggles. That's where it's going. That is definitely where it's going. Hence, that's why when I had basically the light bulb moment of the app was when I was in Japan. I was in Japan with Fatboy Slim and Carl Cox, and we were doing a charity event for the survivors of the tsunami. And we were actually. It was quite surreal because we were doing a beach party for the survivors of the tsunami 3 weeks after the tsunami on the beach. But the Japanese are so resilient. There was like 50,000 people turn up to party. So myself and Carl were on stage doing it with the Norman. Yeah. But what I did day before the actual beach party, I went into Tokyo City Centre. I went into their phone shops because they're so ahead of us. Yeah. There's a lot of the Japanese Koreans. They all walk around with 2 or 3 phones each. But it was a time of the Nokia and the Motorola phones, so they weren't ready. But when I walked into this shop, I just saw the vast amount of phones there, and I thought, wow, this is the future. So the next day, I went back to the gig, and I had all my computer set up on like a 6-foot table, and I turned around to Carl and Norman. I said, look, guys, see all this kit here? And they said, yeah. I said, one day I'm not going to need it. And Carl looked at me and said, what are you going to do, Habs? I said, I'm going to do it with my phone. And Carl he looked at me and he smiled and he goes, make it happen. Yeah. And it took me 10 years, John, to make it happen, but I've made it. Brilliant. And it's just like I say, persistence. And persistence breaks down resistance. If you've got an idea and you've got a dream, don't give up on it. It will happen. You just got to wait. I had to wait for the technology and the hardware to catch up with my vision. Yeah. And it did. Yeah. And it's there now, So a lot of blood, sweat and tears, but I found the right developers who are based in Spain. Right. Amazing guys. And they did exactly what I wanted them to do. And more. So they put it this way, they loved it that much. They bought in 10%. Really? Oh, that tells you story, doesn't it? Development team now.
Brilliant. So you've got you've very kindly done us a video clip that's on the Mayoh Records website. Where do people get hold of you if they want to book you, or they want to talk to you, or they want to inquire? Have we got websites? Have we got Facebooks? Give us a plug.
Yeah, I've got my website. I've got Instagram, which is Habs DJVJ. Yeah. Then I've got the same on Facebook, Habs DJVJ, but I've also got my personal page, which is Habs Akram. But or people can get through, in touch with me through yourself, which I'm very happy. Of course, yeah. Always happy to help there. But like I said, I keep it simple. I've never ever, all my years of being a visual artist and a VJ, doing live events, I've never ever advertised for work. All my work has always come through recommendations and introductions. Hence, that's how I met you, John. Absolutely. I met you through Kasha, which is amazing. So, and we ended up doing that event together, and it went really well. Cool. And and I hope there'll be more to come. Yeah. But that's the way I've always worked. I've always worked that way. Because like yourself, if you can work from your credibility and get work through your credibility is more powerful than going out and spending thousands of pounds trying to advertise and convince people. Yeah, absolutely. They need to book you. Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty much the same. So, Habs, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. We will definitely do the remix. That's the show, the video show. And thank you so much for your time and your trouble. No, it's my pleasure, John, and thank you for asking me all the right questions. I appreciate it.
It wasn't preset, folks. Let me tell you.
No, it's quite funny, mate, because I don't normally do many interviews, because one of the reasons I created the app was to give something back to the industry.
I remember you telling me.
Not everyone is on Carl Cox money. They can't afford people like me to go on tour with them. But now they've got it in their pocket where they can now do that. With and that's it.
Brilliant. Habs, you're a star.
Thank you, mate.
Now, how on earth I turned this off, I've got no idea. But thank you very much. I'll be in touch shortly.
Thank you so much. Thanks.